Yo, what's good there, guys? What's good? What's good? What's good? Nice to have you guys there in the building. Let's just check that everything is okay. Um, we're looking good. We're looking good. We're looking good. Cool, guys. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be getting into some analysis. So just kind of just looking at the pairs that we're looking at here in the chasers, and then obviously formulating a game plan as to how are we going to tackle these pairs over the course of the week. So what we're going to be doing is basically just some analysis. So let's get straight into it. So we're on the DXY right now, which is obviously the dollar index. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of stick on the 4 hour for majority of these pairs and majority of these setups. So we'll just try and zoom out to the max just so that we can see as much of the structure as possible. So what we've got from a 4 hour is basically we've got this ascending structure. And we can see that this ascending structure is giving us one touch, second touch, and then obviously what we could be expecting from the structure is a third touch somewhere in and around these regions. This region here, like you guys can see, also has our 4 hour resistance area. So what we're going to be expecting now, because we've seen this nice impulsive movement to the upside, obviously violating our previous resistance in this area over here, because we've seen this nice momentum to the upside and obviously prices entering a consolidation, what we're going to be doing is looking for this most recent momentum that we're seeing here violating our structure to the upside. We're going to be looking for that momentum to obviously follow through and continue to the upside, and give us basically this termination in this nice key value area over there. So guys, over the course of next week, we're going to be a little bit bullish on the DXY, obviously coming down now to the most recent price action, and I'll just kind of just observing what our 4 hour is telling us, because we know that we only look for a directional bias based off daily structure. And what our 4 hour functions to do for us is our 4 hour basically allows us to find those points of interest where we'll be able to obviously trade those setups that we're looking at. So obviously now that we've got this nice descending structure, we're in a range. We know that any range we find, we look for selling probabilities from the high of the range and buying probabilities from the low of the range. So what we've concluded is that obviously we can see that prices can come and violate the low of this range, obviously by giving us a new lower low, but do still have the potential to react off the third touch of this descending structure for that momentum to the upside. So that's exactly what we're going to be looking for on the DXY, bullish momentum from the low of this range. So we're just waiting for price action to pull to the low and then obviously give us our entry criteria. And once we've got that, then obviously we're good to go. So I see there in the building, hi chasers, happy, good to see you. I see their first live, welcome, welcome there. I see Chantel Mulife saying hi chasers. This is extremely exciting and innovative. Let's see you guys. I see their go to saying let's go. So we're gonna be going, we're gonna be going, we're gonna be going. We're gonna be doing the things, guys. We're gonna be doing the things. So let's just get back into our analysis here on the DXY. Let's just make sure that we are streaming properly. Okay, all this looks okay. So guys, I keep on having to come and continuously check here. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, so let me just go and double check what is going on here. Just go into the settings. Just give me a second, guys, and make sure it's output. Okay. 4500. Okay, cool. Hopefully we're a lot better. Hopefully we're much better. Hopefully things are good. And otherwise, we'll continue going. We'll continue going. So we've basically discussed our DXY, and what we'll be getting into now is some Aussie CAD, guys. So Aussie CAD, we will have to go on the daily just to reference this daily structure. But nonetheless, if we look at Aussie CAD, guys, we're in this descending structure. There is some higher time frame structure that we can talk about, but it's not really relevant to us at this point in time. But nonetheless, we've got this nice, beautiful descending structure. And within this descending structure, what we basically see is prices gave us that first touch, that second touch, At that third touch, we broke below our structure, and then we've broken back into this nicer overall descending structure that we have here. So conclusion being that yes, prices did violate our structure, but we've broken back into the structure, meaning that the structure is still valid and can still play out. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be waiting for that beautiful third touch, or fourth touch in this case, of structure. And obviously we're paying attention to two things. So how do prices get to our point of interest or value area, which is obviously our trend line in this case, is our point of interest, and then also what prices do at our point of interest. So obviously, because prices are fairly impulsive coming down towards our support region, we need to wait for prices to give us a nice beautiful reversal structure. And once we find this reversal structure that allows us to trade any bullish bias momentum, then obviously we jump into the trade. So our forecasting, just to recap what forecasting in the first place is, forecasting involves two things: us finding a directional bias, and then us finding a point of interest where we would like to trade that directional bias. And as you guys can see, we've got a point of interest here on AUDCAD for some bullish bias momentum, and as well as we've got a directional bias. So two things: which direction we're trading and where do we want to find that trade from. So AUDCAD, we're looking for that bullish bias price action. Let's go into some Aussie Swiss franc. So Aussie Swiss franc, I guess we'll stay on the 4 hour because it's not really relevant much that we drop down the time frames. But nonetheless, what we can see here on a 4 hour is that Aussie Swiss franc is stuck within some sort of a range. We can clearly see that yes, prices have given us some extreme lows down in this region over here, and we've also got some extreme highs up in this region here. Ever since prices created extreme lows and extreme highs, we've basically been creating structure within those extreme lows and extreme highs. And like we said with the DXY, anytime we see a corrective structure, we look for selling probabilities from the high of the corrective structure, and as well as those buying probabilities from the low of the corrective structure. So what we can basically see here is, because we've got some momentum over here that is obviously pushing prices up, what we want to do is we want to trade in the direction of that momentum. So basically what we're waiting for is simply enough for prices to make its way all the way to our point of interest, which is obviously at the low of this range. And once prices get to the low of this range, coming into our point of interest, this is where we will begin to start looking for those reversals to the upside. Obviously, if we don't find reversals below our support line over here, all we wait for is just for prices to break back into our structure and then obviously come back and retest this level of structure before we find that upside momentum. So simply enough, guys, on Aussie Swiss franc, our higher time frame bias is more bullish than we are bearish. All we need to do is just wait for prices to basically pull into our higher time frame support, and once we're at or in our higher time frame support regions, then that's when we start looking for our buying opportunities. Now that we're done with Aussie Swiss franc, guys, let me just go and double check that the stream is still okay, that we're still 100% there. Let's see what's happening in the chats there. I see the Black Child is saying Forex Chasers, big ups there. I see Mandla saying, how can I get your mentorship? Simple enough, www.forexchasers.com, and you'll be able to see everything from there. So I'll just type it out here for you guys, .forexchasers.com, and then that's how you get mentors. That's how you basically get mentorship. So we'll keep on moving along with our pairs over there. Let's just make sure that everything is okay in terms of the streaming. Seems okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. If you guys have network issues, just let me know there in the chats, then obviously I'll just deal with it on my end. So we'll go on to a little bit of AJ. So in terms of some AJ, okay, cool. So in terms of some AJ, guys, just looking at an entry here, it looks dope. In terms of AJ, guys, we've got this ascending structure, right? We've seen that this ascending structure is obviously broken above some higher structures and broken back below some higher structures. If we take a look at the structure that formed to create this ascending structure, we have some sort of an expanding structure. So we've got some support trend line there. We can also add a resistance trend line up here. And then obviously we've got this nice, lovely expanding structure from AJ. So this expanding structure basically comes as prices are moving towards our key value areas, our resistance areas up there. We can also see there's resistance up here. We see prices basically entering this expanding structure. After we have our third touch, we find momentum to the downside that is actually even able to violate some support structures over here. So since we've obviously created a lower low, we know that we can see that we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. So clear enough, prices prices have been in an uptrend. Now, obviously, we know our characteristics of an uptrend is us seeing higher highs and higher lows. But what happens when